Good afternoon. Empowering disabled user innovators to build the city of the future, a smart city, a city we can all be very proud of. At this year's World Economic Forum, disability took center stage. It has been labeled a crisis. Here's an analogy to help you understand. Like most of you, I got here in a car. Like some of you, I was a passenger, not a driver. But then there are differences between you and I which you may not easily tell. I am legally blind. What that means is that what you can comfortably read from 20 feet away, I have to walk up to it from 1 foot away to read that. What if someone like me were to manufacture a car? What if I manufactured a car? While my car will have the engine and the tire, since it's a vehicle, it will be missing quite a few significant things. For example, there'll be no windows or windshield or any fog lights or headlamps or brake lights. Just picture a coconut pod on wheels. That will be my car. It will work perfectly for me because I don't see very well. I don't need to look through the windshield. But here come the problems. That car will work very well for me, but I will not be able to operate this car on the roads we have today. And for those of you who actually operate cars on the roads we have today, I can only imagine you will find it very challenging to drive this car without any windows or windshield. So through this analogy, I want to illustrate the importance of manufacturers of products and services also being its users. Sadly, it is not the case when it comes to the community of people with disabilities, and that is one of the reasons why we have this global crisis on our hands today. 20% of the human population is disabled. 1 out of every 5 persons. Look around you. And this community faces a 50% unemployment rate. Folks, that is a staggering number. How do we help all of these folks? Well, the famous saying goes, who's going to pay for it, right? And then somebody else says, well, follow the money. It is estimated today that the size of the disability economy is $8 trillion. That will be the 3rd largest GDP in the world, just behind the US and China. $8 trillion. That is the combined spending power of people with disabilities and their families. So it's no longer a conversation for health organizations and charities. This was the statement by Sir Richard Branson of Virgin at the World Economic Forum this year. But how do we tackle this problem? We've got $8 trillion of economy locked up. We've got 1.3 billion people suffering a 50% unemployment rate. Well, what if we empowered disabled user innovators? What if we collaborated with them and tackled this disability problem? Could that help us build the city of the future that we desire? I say yes. But what will that look like? Let me share with you 2 examples. Disability has been around for ages. But only this year, it debuted front and center at the World Economic Forum. The person that took it there was a disabled person, Caroline Casey, who is legally blind from Ireland. Her goal is to put disability on the global business leadership agenda. She launched a campaign called #Valuable500. It asks the Fortune 500 companies to put disability on their boardroom agenda. So disability is no longer for charities. It's now for businesses to tackle. Although it's been around for ages, it took a disabled user innovator to get it to this global platform, and everybody's talking about it now. Here's another example. Wheelchairs have been around for ages. There are about 65 million wheelchair users. One of them happens to be Sasha Blair Goldenson. He started using wheelchairs about a decade ago after being paralyzed by an unfortunate accident. Now, the problem he was facing is that he'll be invited to buildings just like this, events, and he'd go through all the effort of getting to the location just to find out he couldn't get access into the building. These buildings were not wheelchair friendly. It would have been better if he found out before he even made the effort to get there. So Sasha decided to tackle this problem. He created a team, and they started crowdsourcing information on wheelchair accessible places around the world. And today, if you look on Google Maps, you will see wheelchair accessibility. This is due to the work of Sasha. Sasha is a disabled user innovator. It took someone who is disabled and an innovator to create this transformative change. So these are just two examples of what could happen if we empower and collaborate with disabled user innovators in building our city of the future. I mean, when we talk about city of the future, we talk about smart cities, right? Well, let's break it down. What is smart? What is a smart device? A smart device is one that can receive data or send data, or both. Data as information. So if we're going to talk about a smart city, we have to talk about a city that has the ability to receive input from all its citizens and take action that reflects the input it received from all of its citizens. A smart city has to be one that embraces and practices inclusive innovation. Continuous inclusive innovation, where everyone's voices are heard and actions are taken that reflect their input. That is what I consider a smart city. Now, if we were to take these steps that I've just outlined, this is the kind of world we could build for ourselves. We will build a world where we will unlock the potential social and economic power of 1.3 billion people with disabilities. And by doing so, we will improve the economies of all the countries where they live. So virtually, we'll be improving the economies of the countries all around the world. We will be building smart cities all around the world and build ourselves a truly inclusive society. We think in Zoom, the vision is creating a world where visual impairment, or disability for that matter, no longer steals dreams or kills careers. I got into this because legal blindness killed my medical career, killed my US military career, and killed my engineering career. One of the problems with legal blindness is that the blind assistive technology solutions people like me rely on have two drawbacks: hand-holding and manual operation. It's often difficult to explain. I understand that. But what if I asked each and every single one of you to hold your eyeballs with one hand and operate those eyeballs with your other hand? Now you get the picture? So, What I did was to tackle this problem. That's what made me become a user innovator in the space. And I invented brain control for blind assistive technology, which addresses that manual control so that the visually impaired can be able to look at something, think, and zoom in to see better. Through this journey, it allowed me to discover phenomenal other disabled user innovators around the world. And with the campaign of #Valuable500 that was launched barely 4 weeks ago, here's a thought I'd like to leave you with. What if the Fortune 500 companies raised $2 million to tackle disability? $2 million, Fortune 500 company, just a blip on their radar, right? Yeah, I know that. But what if each of the Fortune 500 companies raised $2 million? That will give us $1 billion with which to unlock the $8 trillion disability economy held by people with disabilities. That will help us make transformative, sweeping change across the globe. If we decide to take these steps and empower disabled user innovators, and cities can collaborate with them. At Think and Zoom, we're interested in companies who want to do social good through disability. Millennials, who they need for brand growth, demand corporate social responsibility. And these millennials have purchasing power for decades and decades and decades to come. So for companies who decide to leverage disability as their CSR, not only can they grow their brand through the millennials, but their funds will actually be used in developing innovative tools to help people with disabilities, help get them a job and help them keep their job. So not only brand growth, but also increasing the diversity of their workforce by attracting and retaining disabled talent. This is what we're doing at Think and Zoom. The information is up there. We just want to create a world where people can finally look, think, and zoom into a better, brighter city of the future. Thank you.